that different than now?
because you can't do it at all in a C1.
But you can do it, it has to be related to the business that you have. Any retail establishment is allowed to store stuff, but it has to be directly related to their business. So like Mohawk Heating can store stuff as long as it's related to the heating business.
So how is that different than?
C2 is pure warehousing, I mean, they don't have to have a business or retail establishment. They can just store stuff there and there's no business to actually sell.
Warehousing is the business.
Right. So it's actually the business of storing.
So the new tenants would have to come and get a special use permit each and every time? Somebody might want to store
No.
barrels and stuff?
No, the objective is for me to get a special use permit in my name and then work it out with Dan, just like my special use permit is now, but to include storage and warehousing. To let him know who goes in there and what, if it does qualify.
So what other uses, I guess, under warehousing, what limitations, if any, are there on what can be stored in a warehouse?
Well, you're in the water overlay district, so there is some limitations, definitely limitations, but
But we're not gonna store hazardous material.
as long as it's not directly related to a hazardous waste or a petroleum-based storage, usually it would be allowed as warehouse.
Well, if it's special use permit, you can attach the restrictions to it.
That too.
I'm just wondering, there's got to be some limitations because
It's
it's
not much
water
written
overlay.
here.
Well, that's where the planning board would have the special use permit in place that
I
would
didn't
limit
bring my book with me tonight, so but I know that, I thought the water overlay language is pretty restricted.
it is, well, he's in the water overlay 4 though, so it's more restricted in the water overlay 1. But he's far enough away from it where it's not affecting the, well, he doesn't have very restricted language. He's not in that zone.
So you say C2 allows warehousing, but how about retail?
Well,
That's possible.
in a warehouse, it is, the zoning is all designed for retail. In that warehouse complex, you're not gonna have that much retail.
Yeah. No, I was just wondering, because if now you have to get a special use permit, the warehouse, why wouldn't, if we go to C2, have a special use permit to sell stuff?
In C1, you cannot get a special use permit to warehouse and store.
Oh,
That's the whole deal.
okay.
I thought you said the vendor.
You can, but it has to be directly related to the business.
Oh.
I mean, it's not purely warehousing. It has to be directly related to the business.
So in that situation, the tenant, would the tenant technically be more appropriate for them to come get the special use and get, if they were gonna have some type of storage
Well,
necessity, so that they
No,
would be directly
no,
attributed
the
to
special use permit runs with the property.
the property owner, so that's.
It always runs with the property, not the tenant.
I mean, one of the things that has costed me so much is because I've had over 9,000 square feet empty, and I couldn't store a trailer or a motorhome or anything. Somebody wanted to store something there because they lived in an apartment, they couldn't do it. That's the whole purpose of this.
So that's part of your business, to have seasonal renting of space?
If I need the income to pay my taxes, yeah.
So, no, I mean, I didn't
It's
know.
cost me over $200,000
So they call that
because
warehouse?
Wall was jerking around all these years.
So, we're trying to help with, for myself, I definitely need to understand a little bit and try to understand the history and everything. I mean, my first thought is, you were concerned about applying for this special use permit because you had to show financial hardship. But it sounds, I mean, you just quoted me a number of 200,000 over, let's say 10 years, so 20,000 a year. So I mean, I guess my question is like, how'd you come up with that number? And if it's that easy, and I don't want to say it's easy, I'm not trying to make light of it, but if you would be able to say, give me some, or give us or whoever those definite numbers, then the financial hardship is kind of easy to, as a dollar.
So Mike, you're talking about a use variance, not a special use permit.
The use variance, right? Is that what he's got to apply to the ZBA for?
Yes,
Yeah.
that would be a use variance.
And that you need to show financial hardship.
That's just the tip of the iceberg. To be frank with you.
I mean, you're still not addressing the other businesses.
Mr. Paul would literally have to show that under every allowable use in a C1, and I think including the special uses, there's like 36 of them, that he could not make a reasonable return on the property, nor could he sell the property to someone else that could.
I'm thinking $200,000. I'm thinking $200,000 is a pretty significant number.
I've got 5 pages that show the requirements for the board to approve the use variance, and I'll share it with you. If you could look at your scenario, and if you think you can make the case. to
I
the
don't
board,
think I can qualify. I don't think, okay, but it will happen. And it's gonna install more of a cost on me. Because now I've gotten engineers in before on this, trying to get this straightened out. I've had my attorney. Now, it's just an ongoing thing here. I mean, I've owned the property for 8 years, and keep being told, no, you can't do that, no, you can't do that, no, you can't do that.
That $200,000 number was a lost opportunity. Was that the point of the 200?
No, what I'm saying, right, it's lost opportunity, absolutely.
So that-
Absolutely. If I could have stored a boat or something in there and filled spaces, you know,
But that kind of stuff is not permitted in a C1, it's warehousing. But I mean, just to store, a lot of people store,
yeah, if you stored this,
you store it in
your
your own
apartment
barn
stuff,
or.
you do it.
But you don't have tenants that you're charging to store things. This is your own things that you're storing. That's the difference.
The C1 is office buildings, banks, retail with no gas, service shops like barbers, hairdressers, flowers, farm ops, and then special uses that you can get in that C1, gasoline service station, car sales, motor vehicle repair, gas stations, restaurants, taverns, motels, building materials, lumber yards, bakeries, bottling works, distribution centers, trucking terminals, kennels, animal hospitals, veterinary clinics, laundries, dry cleaning clinics, theaters, health clubs, dance studios, car, laboratory, mining, and then there's a whole other list somewhere else. So there's lots of things that you can do in a C1. Warehousing as a standalone business is not one of them, even under special use.
truck terminals are.
I didn't,
And again, what's your definition of a truck terminal? What do they do?
So then in C2, there's a numerous number of other things that,
There's,
No, the only thing that's,
What's
everything you
different
can do in C1, you can do in C2.
right,
The only thing that's added is the light industrial and the
warehouse.
warehouse.
And
And
scrap.
And scrap.
yeah, a C1, a C2 is everything you can do in C1, which I just listed, plus there's special use permits you can get in a C2 that you can't get in a C1. So you could make that C2, and it would be exactly the same as a C1 unless they got a special use permit. So I don't really see any actual inherent change other than by going with C2, you have the opportunity to pursue a special use permit for light industrial, warehousing and storage, and scrap yards. For 3 things that you couldn't go after that special use permit under C1.
It was a town attorney that actually told me to do this 3-4 years ago.
And that's actually, again, I'm not the expert. One of our concerns, at least, is that as we jump to this, would it be considered a spot zone?
It is not considered spot zoning. Even my 14 acres, if you zone mine alone, is not spot zoning.
Because it's C2 across the street, right?
It's not a small lot. It would be spot zoning if it was a small lot. If it's any kind of acreage, it is not spot zoning.
I respect your thought.
That's from my attorney, that's straight from my attorney.
I believe you, I do. I guess, our attorney's saying, well, you have to be considered, and we need to is the board consider that as, you know, a risk? So it's just something that,
I mean, it's basically, you guys need to fix the problem.
Yeah. How come, White's RV and M&M Motors and others haven't been complaining about this the same way you are?
Because they don't have warehouses.
I know. But,
well,
They don't have
are-
warehouses, but they want the value of their property to grow. It's gonna be a better tax base for the town
yeah,
by doing the whole thing.
They are warehousing, it's just their material for their work, for their job.
yeah,
You know, it could be still huge as long as it's all custom cabinets.
yeah. Okay.
It takes it up to your, you know, to each of their own interpretation.
So all I can, you know, I don't have an answer for you tonight, Bob. I will keep it on the agendas. As you know, we're gonna, you know, re-engage the comprehensive plan. I encourage you to partake in the discussion at that point. Let me, I don't know, Todd, do you have any thoughts here at the moment?
I do not.
I don't think it needs to wait for the comprehensive plan, because that's been the story for years. Comprehensive plan has been 4 years, used as an excuse.
Wow.
I agree with that. And, you know, it's, the planning board has reviewed it.
And in 4 years, it's been $200,000.
Are we talking about the comprehensive plan? Are we talking
No, I'm talking
about-
about Bob's situation, this whole thing about going from C1 to C2. And from the way I understand it, as it's been presented, and Vic is here from the zoning board of appeals, it's pretty clear what you're asking the town, and I think it's, you know, I think it's not an unreasonable request.
The town engineer, Doug Cole, is for it, Gino's for it. Everybody seems to think it's a good idea. I don't know why it can't be done.
Yeah.
From what I can see, going from a C1 to a C2 changes nothing, except that that whoever was in that C2 would then have the opportunity to pursue a special use permit for 3 different things that they can't pursue under a C1. Doesn't mean they get it.
Yeah.
And the only, and speaking as a citizen and not the ZBA chairman, the only thing that bothered me about this was that it started just with his property. Now it's spread to 6 others, where the 5 others, they weren't here, they're not here tonight, I don't think.
Yeah.
So that doesn't make any sense to me, especially with C2 across the street. I'd rather just see his property and not the whole thing.
So, I mean, would it be reasonable to suggest that a variance could be
A use variance?
made?
Is it reasonable for him to come from the board for a use variance?
Well, no, at the last meeting, Bob said that he didn't think it'd be a waste of time to go before your board.
That's a use
It's a
variance.
waste of time and money. It's a lot of money.
Do you want my opinion on that?
Well, yeah,
I agree.
okay. 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 Thank you.
Has the other property owners made any formal requests to do this?
They haven't made a formal request, but they would ascertain that they would like it. Their property values would be more, they'd be able to do more with their property.
So, how about the people across the street on Waynesburg Road?
Now that you'd have to do through a public hearing.
You have to do everything through a public hearing. Any
Right.
zoning change has to go through public hearing and has to go through seeker. And if you start changing an area the size that he's talking about, that no longer is in conformance with the current comprehensive plan, and it's illegal to do so. And if you change just his property, then you could potentially be doing a spot zone. So there really is a procedure to do this, and Gino can attest to the fact that in Rotterdam and most every other town around here, there's a formal application for a zoning change that an applicant fills out, pays a fee, and has to come before the board and present his case with documentation as to why this zoning change is being supported. And all we hear right now is a lot of verbal discussion of what is or what has opportunities been missed and so forth. So I'm not against him getting the change, but there's a procedure to be followed, and I think the board has to make sure they do it right. or else they're gonna be subject to potentially Article 78 and doing the procedure incorrectly. So I just wanna let you know that it's not a trivial matter to change zoning, because it has to be in conformance with the comprehensive plan, and Joe, I think you know that, because that drives basically everything for the town. So this area was zoned C1 with the intention that it be retail, not C2, when the comprehensive plan in 1888 was done, and the zoning followed that. You bought it when it was C1, you knew it was C1.
It was not C1, Pat.
It was C1.
No, it was not,
I
because
mean,
the map
you
showed
built
it
a
was
building,
agricultural.
you came before the planning board, and you
No,
built a
I-
building,
That's Carol. Carol
and it was
did it with
C1.
it. She was
It's
the
right on the
C1.
Hold
map.
on, hold on, hold on,
C1.
let's stop, slow down. So I'm in agreement, but we should be able to go back and research. Now, whether it's your team, you know, we can ask Vic, Pat, Gino to go through all the past minutes since 2000. We can ask, you know, Paul, the assessor, and everybody to come up with some history, but, you know, from my own personal spot, that's what I'd like to see, is like, let's just see what the history here shows, and see, you know,
I mean, if it was C2,
Everybody knows history, Gene. Don't
we
know.
didn't have a
Carol knows
C2.
it.
We didn't have a C2
It's not hearsay. It's not hearsay.
back,
again, I saw this some minutes.
I mean, I had to wait for the rezoning of that property before I could put that last building.
To C1.
Yes, to bring it to C1. The planning board would not allow me to put the building up until the town board approved it to C1.
It was agricultural before that.
It was C1 before that.
The only last
It's
comment.
just been, that's what I'm telling you, I've owned it for 8 years, I know everybody in this town.
I guess for this board's sake, for the time that's been put into it by the planning board, Gino, Dan, and anybody else involved, and for Mr. Paul, we probably need to come up with a process that, from here, what we're gonna do to further guidance. I will say that the allowed uses in C1 that are there now are there by the thought of, you know, the prior, our current and in-force comprehensive plan. And in all the work that we've done on the comprehensive plan revision, I don't recall seeing any detail in there that was, or feedback in there from all the pertinent stakeholders looking to expand the allowable uses in that area. So, you know, having said that, I don't think that it's the overall consensus based on all the work that was done on the comprehensive plan revision that we're looking to expand the uses in that area. So, having said that though, I think we need a process to figure out where we're gonna go from here to further evaluate and come to a decision on whether this board is gonna take any action at this time specific to this, or in a grander, are we gonna wait till the grander conversation of looking at zoning for the entire town through the rest of the comprehensive plan process? And if that's the case, then I guess, you know, we'd have to figure out, you know, the other options you have available to you, the ZBA or other means to get.
I was just saying, if that turns out to be the case, there will be attorneys involved.
I think I'd like to say that, I just saw the planning board report tonight, so I'd like to read this more carefully. And then if I got questions, I'll talk to Pat. You know, then I think I agree with Pat, that we should just come up with a process.
I agree.
to address the issue.
Pat, can you forward out that Rotterdam? Or Gino, sorry.
Gino
Yeah,
has it.
I actually been working on the Rotterdam town zone. We reviewed it, Pat forwarded it to me, and I've been manipulating it and making it fit for the town of Princetown, and I want to present it at the next planning board meeting, which is Thursday, and hopefully get it on your agenda for the next town board meeting. It basically goes through the process of going through the zone change and an actual formal application, which we're lacking right now. And I think we need to have it. I mean, yeah, we're taking it case by case, but, you know, we talked about doing an overhaul of the zoning at some point, or at least looking at our zoning. But right now, we're lacking a lot of things, and we're taking things as they come. And this is one of the issues that we're facing right now, that we don't really have, you know, everything in black and white, and that, I like to have that. And as they come along, I like to feed it back to you guys and hopefully start implementing the things that we need in order to make sure that we can address these issues in the future. So, you know, I've been working on the the new version of our zoning application change, our zoning change application. So I'd like to add that to your agenda for the next town board meeting. I can formally present it to you guys can review it at the next board meeting.
Do we want to do it at the board meeting, or we want to do it at the next agenda meeting?
I think the next board meeting is better, although it gives us a shorter time, but it doesn't matter.
Well, I'll forward it to you guys will have it, and that you guys can make a decision at that point.
Todd, do you want to talk about it at the agenda meeting, or the board meeting?
I'll talk about it whenever you guys listen.
There's a lot of shaking heads here, like it's a yes or no question. Bob, what do you think, yes or no?
Yeah.
Yes to the board meeting, or yes to the agenda meeting? Board meeting.
Okay.
But just put it on for the board meeting and we'll figure out what we're gonna do with it.
Okay. So hopefully again, get the agenda out tomorrow, Thursday. All right, thank you, Gino. So I'll put you on the agenda.
Thanks.
All right. So I know it's getting late again here, folks, so just want to I was going to touch base on Hayden, but let's get that. We're going to do buildings and grounds. I want to put that on the agenda as far as, start to look towards the June organizational meeting. But it is getting late here. We do have to probably, not going to executive session, but we have to make a decision